Hello, hello, and welcome. You're listening to Light Sprinkles, and I'm Spring Ulrich. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for listening. I want to share with you today something that I have been discovering about myself because today I had an experience where here we are in June for me, and um, it's summertime. It feels like summertime here, and um, kids are still in school. We're wrapping it up. We're getting to the end of things, and I just came through a big energy output in one of my businesses and getting that all together. So I've had a lot of stuff on my list and my items of to do that have been completed, and I've accomplished quite a bit. And here I found myself in a moment in my day where I had some opening in my schedule. Like I had achieved enough on my list that I felt a bit caught up and a bit of a breather, and this like peace and this calm come over me of like, this is feeling so good and so easy. And then immediately almost the next thought of like, oh my gosh, this is too easy. Like, what am I forgetting? What do I need to grab and do on my list? Like I have a little book that I keep that I just will jot down my ideas and things that I get to do in my day or on my list so that I can just get it out of my brain and onto my list. And I do love checking things off. But in my journaling today, I really explored the list again. And I've visited this topic before in some of my other videos. But I wanted to revisit it because it's not just a once and done, and habits don't always just get resolved immediately, and that's something of a practice to instill new habits and new ways of embodying our ways of being, whether they're high energy, frenetic energy, peace or calm, or the things that we want to improve in our life. It is a practice. It doesn't always just come immediately. So I have been practicing this year. My word has been ease in all areas of my life, ease in my health, in my love, in my joy, in my abundance, in getting my things done, and ease in bringing more fun in and bringing more pleasure, just ease in every way. That's been my word for the year. So today I was looking like a bird's eye view of my experience and what I'm, going through. I'm always looking at how I'm showing up and how I'm doing and doing my journaling. And today in that journaling, I really took a look at the propensity, the habit of my list. Like, am I living? One of the questions, powerful questions that I felt would be not just beneficial for myself, but beneficial for anyone else listening to that may be in a habit of building lists and living from a list and off of a list. That just to take a look at it. Is the list serving you? And if it is, great. But just take a look at the energy that you're holding with your list. Take a look at how it is that you're showing up around your list, and could you operate in a day with no list? Like, what happens when your list is blank or you have nothing on your list? Now you may be asking, what do you mean no list? Like, there's never a lack of finding something to put onto the list. And if you're the list builder and the creator of it, the chances are that the list is never ending and the list is never done. So in my own experience, in my own life, trying to, I'm going to replace trying with in the practice of wanting to embody more ease and less stress, anxiety, or overwhelm, and a chronic way of being in that chronic feeling of pressure, like pressure induced by myself, pressure induced like that I need to get things done faster or that I'm not doing enough, right? The not enough syndrome, working on combating that and just really being conscious of what I'm speaking to myself, the words I'm using, and how I'm being like in my day. How am I actually going about achieving, accomplishing, checking off those tasks? Am I being in frenetic energy? Am I being in overwhelm, in pressure, or am I being at ease? Am I feeling that relaxed being really okay with where I'm at and being content and finding that inner peace as I'm doing them. So that's really what I wanted to share with and speak with and with you about today, is my own self-discovery in just looking at how is it that I'm being and going about creating my list, and the questions that I used in my own journaling, just to give myself that contemplation and that thought of looking at it, just being really self-aware in how I'm showing up and how is it that I'm being. Because I noticed when I had that moment where pretty much everything was checked off my list and I had not built a new list, there was that gap. Can we be in the gap? Can we be okay with the blank page? Or is it a chronic habit to be feeling like I need to be in this anxious, driven, go, go, go mode? Or can I just allow myself that breather, that break, and that time of sheer just beingness, and being okay with like, I just had a lot of energy output, and the ebbs and the flows of life. Can we ride really beautifully and gracefully those really high peaks where we're putting out a lot of energy to get up that mountain, but then once we get up that mountain, can we enjoy the view? Can we stop and go, wow, what an incredible view, and just really enjoy the bliss of that moment? Or do we need to immediately get into the figuring out the how-tos and, oh, what needs to happen next? Or feeling this anxiousness almost of like, well, what is it that I'm forgetting? Or is there something else I need to do if I'm not feeling that chronic pressure, or that chronic this busyness in your life, or that need to be constantly doing? Maybe take a look at that. Like, how can you just be okay in the pause? Be okay in that moment of contentment and joy and just the ease. I'm realizing I get to remind myself in my body, even, to say, body, listen, this is what we want more of. This is the juiciness. This is where we want to live more often. Like, this is the way, like in Star Wars, and like, this is the way, like in The Mandalorian, this is the way, like reminding my body, reminding my being, this is the way. Like, even if I only get glimpses or moments of that, like just deep contentment and rest and relaxed ease, can I remind myself, this is the way. This is the way of being. Not right now. I'm in my video. Thank you, honey. I know. I'm in a video. I asked you for respect. Thank you. My daughter wanted to be in the video. I love you. I'll give you a hug when I'm done. So, yeah, can you allow yourself the grace and the ability to hold the ease throughout your day as you accomplish and play? And I'm reading you from what I wrote myself in my journal, because I just feel like it's really powerful and great reminders to myself, and perhaps you'll get a wisdom nugget from it as well. Then I'll repeat it back. To allow yourself the grace and the ability to hold ease all throughout your day as you accomplish and play. So, really bringing that harmony into like your accomplishments and into your play. And as I wrote on, like, just like to keep reminding myself that life is supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be fun. And yes, there are hardships and difficult things, but I don't want to get stuck there. I don't want to live my whole life in just hurried, busy, anxious, fretting to get to the next moment, and then this like constant doingness. I want to live more in the beingness, because I really believe that that's where we get our best ideas, where we have the most fun, where we can enjoy the most pleasure, the most health and abundance, and all of the good things in life. So, are you simply in a habit? Are you in a habit of the habit to run on a heightened buzz in order to find yourself needing to, like, almost like a drug, like you need that like hit of like anxiety or self-pressure in order to get the energy up to do the task, or to feel like you're not going to accomplish it without that? high energy or high buzzing energy rather than coming from a real contented, relaxed state of beingness. And are you in a chronic habit of having to fill up the list? I found myself, I really did this morning, I found myself, because that's one of the daily habits I have is actually to, and I don't always do it. It's not 100% all the time with anything in life. But for the most part, I have a habit of writing down on my list of things to do so that I get them out of my mind. They're on my list and I can have focused energy when I'm ready to get to that. I can say, what's the next thing? What are my priorities? And it can be a really valuable tool to write out your priorities. But here's the kicker. I think the part where we really get to be mindful and really conscious about what we're choosing to put on our list. And that's one of the things I wrote to myself today in my journaling, is that what am I putting on my list? Like, yes, it's good to be able to kind of do that dump of like getting it out of the brain and the things that, might be forgotten, or the, just the tasks that we want to achieve and complete. But who is putting those tasks on our list? Is it coming from outside? Is it coming from within? Are they our priorities? Are they pressing? Are they urgent? Do they really need to be done? Is anyone going to notice them other than you if they don't get done? And are they impacting your life in a positive way? If you do these items on the list, yes, it can feel great to be checking things off your list, but are you checking them off in the areas that are your priority and of your utmost importance? That's my question for myself. And, if it resonates, if it fits, then please take it on for yourself as well. Thank you, honey, but you're interrupting me. So just ask yourself, like, what items am I putting on my list, and are they necessary? Like, how many of those items could we just like completely check off the list and say, that doesn't need to be done? And I'm not perpetuating a habit of procrastination, because that's also a whole nother topic to look at and deal with and ask why we're having a procrastination situation or habit run in our life. But this chronic need to achieve and to accomplish and to feel like our self-worth is coming from, like, are you finding your self-worth coming from how much you've achieved or accomplished in the day? Do you really look at that? Like, do you feel like you're worthy without a drop of dew? And that's what I've been really taking on a mantra for myself, is that I am worthy, I am enough, with or without a drop of dew. Because really and truly, just being alive, you're enough. So yes, to be able to accomplish and to be able to do things and to feel good about yourself and trust and know that you can accomplish things, those things all feel great, but it's not the whole of who you are, or even where your real true value of being enough comes from. And the truth is that list will never end. If you're a chronic list builder, you can just continue to put more and more and more and more on that list. So be mindful of what you have on your list, my friends, and just ask yourself. One of the things I wrote to myself today is, is your list living you, or are you in charge of your list? Is your list living you, or are you in charge of your list? And the deeper question is, are you living by your list, or are you living your life? So, great questions I feel will bring great answers and great clarity. So can you be in the blank page mode and just really be rested in that? Can you allow that to nourish yourself? If you have that moment where you have a gap, can you take that moment and really enjoy it? Because like today, I didn't just take that moment and remain there. I immediately began writing out 16 items on a list. So I actually counted them to find out like how many was I actually putting down. So it wasn't just like 3 items, like these are my priorities. It was like getting everything down. Which is interesting, because in that moment I felt like I really did have quite a bit caught up, but then I looked around like, what more can I do? So your worth is simply that you exist. Yeah, your worth is that you exist. And, just being a kind person, just being a better and a more loving and kind person, if you're doing that, then hello. I think that You're doing amazing and doing enough. And the other thing that I wanted to share with you that I wrote to myself today that I thought was really a great perspective and a great nugget I want to share with you is to pick things to place on your list more often that light you up, that are simply just becauses. Like, how often do we allow ourselves to put on our to-do list the things we just want to do because they bring us pleasure, because they're fun, because we want to do them? Like, do we even give ourselves permission on our to-do list to write down things that we really want to do, that we really would just get a whole lot of energy from? Because if you watch kids, or if you remember a time when you really were doing something that was pleasurable, like, did you come off of that drained and exhausted, or did you come off of that experience of something you really enjoyed and loved doing with more enthusiasm, with more energy, and just filling up your cup in such a capacity that you then felt like moving on to other things on your list or in your day? So, utilize that play and that pleasure to your benefit, like by allowing yourself to place those items on your list. And what I wrote to myself is to do it simply just because, and that it's time to balance the taskmaster with the play and pleasure professional. Like that little girl or that little boy inside you that is super excited about just being alive and wants to do and explore and have fun and is curious. What would light you up? What would be super rebellious in the taskmaster who loves to write down and be organized and write all the things down on the list? How can you give some space and some room to your play professional, your play and pleasure professional, the one who knows what lights you up? Can you allow some space on your page for that fun, for that play and pleasure professional to be able to write down some of those things? And even if you don't get to them, the fact that they're even on the list, like, how often do they even make the list? Like, are we waiting, right, in our life? I've talked about that before too. Are we waiting in our life to do the things that we want to really do, that light us up, that we enjoy doing, because we don't feel like there's enough time or we don't have enough energy? So let's not wait. Let's get some of those things that are the things that light us up and bring us that ability to really juice up and be enthusiastic about life. Let's get some of those onto our list for today. Doesn't that sound juicy? Like a great way to juice yourself up? I do. And so I did. After I wrote in my journal, I actually opened up my to-do list and I wrote down some things that I felt like would be fun just because. And just wrote down a few items in a different color that just giving myself that permission, the permission to play, the permission for pleasure, and the permission to stop in the middle of whatever it is that I'm doing and say, what am I going to choose here? Am I going to choose the chaos and the frenetic energy, or the getting the task done over something that's pleasurable? Like, which am I going to focus on right now today? Because that's really, we really do get to decide in each moment how we're going to be, how we're going to choose to show up and react with our attitude and in our beingness. And so that's what I would love for you to take a look at today. That's what I'm looking at, and maybe it resonates with you. So allow more play and pleasure into your day, my loves. And yeah, what I wrote it to myself is that this will open up opportunities and energy and more ease and flow into my daily living and increase my happiness and my joy. So that is my wish for you, is that you will take something from today and from listening here today and just take a look at how you are living your life and your lists, and let me know. Like, give me a comment on if this resonates, if you're completely the opposite and you never live by a list and you just completely, or if there's another area where you feel like you are really putting a huge amount of value on your self-worth into one area, if you fulfill your tasks in a certain way, or a bucket, say it's, if you earn a certain dollar amount on your paycheck, or if you get a certain amount of compliments or whatever it is, like where do you really place a huge self-worth value ticket or token, and have that be the scale in which you measure your self-worth. And just taking a look at how we look at ourselves, how we see ourselves, how we perceive ourselves, and how we are functioning, and is it working for us? Are the beliefs that we have around our self-worth, are they working? Are they healthy? Do they feel good? Do they light us up? So take a look, take what works for you, believe nothing that you read, hear, or see unless it resonates. That is something that I have on my own refrigerator by Buddha, and I did not quote it exactly, but it did say, believe nothing you've read or seen or heard, no matter who has said it, no matter where it's come from, even if I have said it, unless it resonates. So that's what I would invite you to do, is really tune into what resonates for you and take it from there. Let your heart be the guide and work to get clarity within your own guidance system in your own heart. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. My daughter is pressing into wanting my attention. So it is that time. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and I will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Much love and light. Bye for now.